Hi everybody, we're live on Instagram. Laura Ballambini from Red Paint Studio, my home studio in the desert just outside of Albuquerque and south of Santa Fe. It's sunny and warm. It's like 60 degrees today. I think winter's over here. I was kind of expecting, I just found my wool socks to put on. And was getting used to trying to keep warm in the studio, and now I've got the door open, the heat's off. Hi, how you doing? I'll wave. I just did a Facebook Live, but I don't know, I tend to do both. I don't know what happens to the Facebook people, but maybe they'll come over to Instagram. But I'm in the studio because, I don't know, I always get these voices in my head that tell me, oh, maybe you should talk to people about what they're up to. You know, I get kind of wrapped up in my own little world, but there's a lot of crap going on out there. There's a lot of bad news and bad stuff, and if you're not affected by it, there's something wrong with you, seriously. But let's use that. Let's not let it stop us from creating, because that's who we are. I was thinking a lot about symbolism. If you watched Little Bad Bunny, Big Bad Bunny, he's Big Bad Bunny, he's kind of tall, I think. On halftime football game a couple of days ago, I'm from Pittsburgh, so if the Steelers aren't playing, I don't care. But I wanted to see, what's her name? Brandy. I wanted to see Brandy because I like Brandy Carlisle. And I wanted to see Bad Bunny because I had just a little snippet of somebody telling me that there was going to be some very interesting symbolism, production-wise, color-wise, music-wise, going on, and you want to see it first, the whole thing, and then go back and read about what everything in there means. And it reminded me of, I don't know, somewhere in art school, somewhere along the way, somebody finally said, quit making stuff and make stuff that means something. And, our class question was always, well, how do we do that? How do we make stuff that means something besides just great color, great form, great shape, great composition? How do we use symbols and symbolism in our work? And I think along the way, if you've been at it as long as I have, you find little ways to send messages through your work. Could be a color, could be a shape that I use a lot. I just did a whole bunch of blue for a show, my next show in Austin, Texas, because I wanted blue. I felt blue. I needed blue, and I felt like the blues and grays were really helping me kind of sift through a lot of stuff. But also, I'll use a lot of little symbols along the way when I'm painting, and they don't always mean something. Here's a nice arrow. They don't always mean something to everybody, but they don't have to. They don't have to mean something to everybody. They just have to mean a little bit of something about what you're going through and what you'd like to say, and put it out there to be seen and be felt. That's all. And that kind of symbolism and creativity keeps you wanting to make more, because we want to have so much positive energy that the negative goes away. So I have been working on 4, these are wood palette. I guess they're palettes, 4 wood palettes. They're framed. They're not framed, they're floated, kind of. Very inexpensive. These are acrylic. I kind of worked, my thought ahead of time was I wanted to do, since I just did a bunch of blues, I wanted to do, and I don't use this color a lot because I don't know, it doesn't work with my other colors, maybe is why, but I decided I wanted pinks and pink colors. You know, I mean, there's many names for pinks and pink reds and pink purples and pink yellows and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the color pink and its friends, whoever is friendly with the color pink, is what I was using for these 4 pieces. They're very abstract, and the first thing, hi, I'm going to wave, hi. I hope everybody can hear me because I don't have my mic on today. The first thing I thought of when I came in was, and I do this will be over a period of like 3 or 4 days that I'll do 4. And I'll do other things in between, but it gives me a chance to not look at them every day. So when I came in this morning, I immediately was drawn to these 2. I liked these 2. This one and this one. And these are not necessarily done, but I feel closer to being done with these 2 than these 2. These 2, this one especially, this one to me, and I'll be turning it around different ways until I figure out which way is home. I call it home. Is this home? It kind of looks like home. Sometimes you have to take a picture with your phone and let your phone turn it around until you can figure out where it belongs. See, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. But there's too much going on in here. And I think as I also get older, that I'm streamlining, I'm simplifying my colors, my spaces, my composition seems to suit me better because I think you don't have to be complicated to say what you want to say anymore. You don't have to say, hi, wave, oh, wave. You don't have to say everything that you want to say in one painting. It's not possible. It's just not. We had my kids grew up on a commune. Yeah, they did. And we had an architect that came to visit and didn't leave for like years, a couple years, architect student, and he decided he was going to use us and to build houses there as his, I don't know if it was his master's degree or something. So he was designing our houses on the commune. And to this day, two of the houses, there were three houses. One of the houses, the first one, he wasn't there, and it was real basic, functional. Okay, it didn't have running water. It didn't have a bathroom. But the indoor space functioned pretty well. And then he moved in and he designed the second house for himself. And I remember thinking afterwards, he might have been a good designer, but he was way trying to put everything he wanted to create, the stairway, the cabinetry, the doors, the decks. There were decks coming off of all these different places. He put so much into that building that it didn't function. It just didn't function right. It was too busy. It was hard to build, hard to maintain. And my sister bought it. So my sister started living in this house. And I told her, I said, there's no closets. The bathroom's in the wrong place. And what's this little deck for? It's not connected to anything. Anyway, she lived there for years. That's a whole nother long story. But mostly just to say that, sure, do a couple years worth of, you want to do everything. You want to try every material and every kind of frame and 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional. I've done so much stuff. But now, I think I would like to be a little less complicated. That's just me. That's my spiel for today. But I also wanted to say that my symbolism, I don't know if I started this way or not. I think I did my Facebook this way. But I was watching Bad Bunny, of course, because I like Brandi Carlile. So I watched her at the beginning. Yeah, she was at the beginning. And then Bad Bunny. Just because I appreciate his artistry. He's got a lot to deal with as far as symbolism, who he is. So, you know, singing and songwriting is a whole pile of symbolism. And when you add the visuals, as he did for Halftime, there must have been meetings where everybody said, I want to do this, I want to have this, and this, and this, and this. And somebody had to kind of say, whoa, too much. So what we saw was probably, you know, a slimmed down, sleeker vision of what everybody wanted to say and be seen for. So I applaud the design work because there was a lot going on there. I mean, from costumes to bodegas to the living the living sugarcane, the telephone poles, you know, clothing. Did I say that? It was very cool. Hats, music, wedding. Come on. There's a lot going on in like 17 minutes. So say things in your work. It could be small things. For me, the color pink represents girls. Little girls. Lost. Little girls. So I'm using today, these are colored Stabilo. I think it's German, I'm not sure. Stabilo pencils to add on top of here. These are not done. These are like 3/4 done. And I've been just outlining a little bit with pencil. These are very, very waxy pencils, so they go over the wood and the acrylic really well. Some things don't work if it's too water oriented. Sometimes it won't work that way. I've used spray paints, I've used acrylics, I've used stencils, I've used the Stabilo, and then probably before I leave tonight, I'll use little pouring, let's see, I'll use some of these little bottles with paint in them, and I'll actually do a little bit of painting with them. They kind of take a couple hours to dry before I can do anything else on top of them. So I like to do that before I leave the studio. So I'll do that pretty soon because I have to go do something else. So I just wanted to say hi to everybody and tell everybody that, you know, if you're having a hard time creating, find a show to do, apply to a show. We don't get into all the shows. I counted 4 shows just in the last 2 weeks that I got rejected from. 4. That's pretty normal, I think. The more you apply to, the more you're going to get rejected from. But just enough feedback I got back that it gave me incentive to go back to work and think, oh, these would be great for this show, or I should apply to this because I've got a piece for that show. So if you're having trouble And it's hard sometimes. It's hard, I think. It's hard sometimes to, I mean, you can either make things for a reason, because you have a show, a place to put them, or you can make things because you like to make things. I do both. And sometimes if you make things just to make things, then you have to wait to find out where that goes, where that piece belongs, before, you know, anybody else really even sees it. So do both. You don't have to make big things, make small things, work on paper, and, you know, shelve them, put them somewhere, and then as you apply to show, don't forget, when you work on paper, it's great idea. When you work on paper, hold on to those, apply to shows with those, take images of the work on paper, and then if you get in, then frame them. You don't have to frame everything to get into a show, plus it's hard to photograph things through plexi and glass anyway. So work on paper, and then if you get into a show, take it and get it framed that way. Saves you a lot of space too. So that's what we're doing. Above me today, the cranes, the sandhill cranes, are flying over. They're very loud, and I think somebody feeds them in my back 40 back here. Somebody's giving them grain. So they come down, and I was out working yesterday outside, painting outside, with the radio or something, music on, and I noticed that they were like inching their way closer to my fence, going like, what's she doing? And it's like, well, I'm not feeding you, but you're welcome, you know, to come hang out while I'm painting. And there's about 7 or 8 of them that have been kind of coming back over like a period of 3 years. And I think they come back to the same places. And it's a really quiet spot back here because there's no dogs to bother them, and it's a big open field, so they feel comfortable. But they're really cool to watch. The big birds with big wings that, you know, when you hear them overhead, they just sound like swish, swish, swish when they fly over top. So let me know if you have any questions about materials. I'll be in Austin, Texas, 2021, 22, at the, what's it called? I think it's like Market something. The Market in Austin, Texas. It's a big indoor pavilion, so it's an indoor show. I'll be there for 3 days. You know, even if you're not interested in buying something, that's fine. Come by and say hi, because it breaks up my day. And I like to meet new people in Austin in case I want to come back for another show. It's always fun. So, make art. Symbolism is great. Use music to paint by. Try a new material if you're stuck. Apply to a show. If you get in, great. If you don't, you've got the work to apply to another show. Come say hi in Austin. I know the news is crappy, but I think there'll be an end to it at some point, and nothing will be the same. Nothing will be the same. So let's just hope we can keep making artwork to get through it. Thanks.